Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at gold. It is time for another update, and on this chart we are tracking a very bullish interpretation where we have a large series of 1-2 setups that have formed, but honestly we have gone in more detail into those in the previous video. We don't really need to do that again, because until we actually build the internal structure within this area, this expected to be wave 3, we don't really need to concern ourselves with the previous structures. And even in this area, I actually believe there may be quite a significant period until we will manage to even build its actual structure. And in this case, we are tracking here a double 1-2-1-2 setup once again, where this would be expected to be quite a substantial wave 3. Now, this isn't the only interpretation that is possible. Yeah, even throughout the entire chart, it could still form or morph into a diagonal structure, but right now we are able to be tracking this idea of an impulse, and it is working quite well. There are no areas of support that have been broken. There are no structure indications that this could not allow or be allowed to be tracked as an impulse. And internally, I may even go ahead and track this internal movement to the upside also as a significant series of 1-2 setups in this area, where honestly this may have been just another 1-2 setup, and only now may we may be building the actual wave 3. Yeah, the extensions keep coming and coming, and we have to keep aware that until we actually get a signal that the structure should start a more significant correction, we need to keep tracking them. Yeah, now internally within this area, we have been actually considering a possible top within the core of the core in the wave 3, yeah, the actual wave 3, from which point we may need to start tracking 4-5 movements to the upside continuously until we build the larger structures within the wave 3. Yeah, we would actually need several additional 4-5 patterns before we can consider this larger movement to be complete. And yeah, once that is done, we would have still additional 4-5 movements to the upside expected to build the even larger pattern. Overall, on this chart, we expect continued upside, and until we actually break an internal area of support, we expect continuous extensions. Because to be honest, based on the extension that has occurred here, once it is done, I will continue to track the idea that this could have been a wave 1, we would have here a wave 2, and that this would be the actual wave 3. And I would be looking still for a wave 4, not the larger correction in the wave 4, yeah, not the idea where this larger wave 3 would already be complete. I would be looking still for extensions internally. Now, with this said, right now it doesn't really matter whether this is the wave 3 or not, or if it is the 5th wave that we are tracking in this area. And in the previous video, I did provide you this area of support that we were even looking for as a possible area of a reset for this correction in the wave 4, because yeah, we had already bottomed and we were looking in the orange interpretation for a possible reset, although we were even tracking a larger 5-wave move to the upside that could have developed. And while it didn't, we had a deeper retracement in this area. It did manage to extend higher. Now, based on the structure, we no longer are able to realistically track this idea of an extension of the wave 4. Yeah, maybe it could work out if we don't manage to form another high in this area, but honestly right now what we should be focusing on is this idea of a larger ending diagonal to be forming here within a wave 5. Now, in this interpretation, I would actually assume that the wave 1 has instead topped here in an ABC movement. We have here an ABC correction in a wave 2, and then we are tracking this movement to the upside as a larger wave 3, as an ABC movement in of itself. And in this case, we would now, or that would actually put us now in a larger correction in a wave 4. Although I wouldn't necessarily expect this to be too substantial, we have here an internal area of support for such an interpretation between the 4.4k level all the way down to the 4.2k level. So far within this correction, we have gotten nearly to the 50% retracement, and while there is no signal that we have bottomed, there is no reason to believe that this correction needs to actually extend even more. We can actually even go ahead and look for an internal extension here of the wave 1 to gauge if we did had sufficient movement to the upside within this wave 3, and surely enough we got to the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, which is the ideal target of the wave 3, yeah, just a bit above it before the larger retracement in wave 4. Now in that idea, I am expecting, once this correction in the wave 4 is done, to continue in this overall uptrend to complete the larger wave 5 in another ABC movement, once which we would have a more significant top. Now, could that be this entire movement done? Yes, it could, but I am also heavily considering that this would be still part of this wave 3 to the upside, that we may actually get an extension. So I will be tracking, once it is done, even an internal extension within this structure to the upside. And for now, there isn't much to be said within this time frame. We can maybe have a look here internally within this wave 4, where as long as we hold the 61.8% retracement, I am still looking for higher prices. However, if that fails to be held, I would be more open to the idea of an extension of this wave 4, where in that case, yes, I would indeed consider that this wave 3 has already topped and that we get a rather odd correction in something like a WXY movement to the downside, where yeah, I would honestly just be looking for a reset within the same area of support we have been tracking in the previous video for this wave 4. And internally within this movement to the downside, I could argue that, yeah, honestly, no, I don't really think this is a 5 move to the downside. I would probably consider this to be an ABC movement within a wave A. We would have here a wave B correction and then possibly a wave C within the wave 4. Honestly, that interpretation doesn't look too good either, and we may need to be more open to the idea that, yeah, on this small time frame, we need to allow more space and probably stick away from the exact count and focus more on the overall area of support, which, yeah, right now is doing just fine. We still have plenty of room, and this correction could possibly be considered maybe something like a WXY rather to the downside, unless this movement still extends lower. However, if I were to be looking for a larger 3-wave move to the downside within this fashion, I would be looking here at an ideal target at the 4.170k level, the 100% extension of the initial movement down. Although again, it is an ideal target and we don't need to get there, so maybe the 78.6% extension should be enough. And we also have additional structural support at these levels, yeah? Even if we get here a brief break below the 61.8% retracement, we do have significant structural support areas, or area here between the 400 and 100, not 400, the 4.16k level up to even the 4.2k level. Yeah, even here we have some structural support. But for now, there isn't much else to be said. I wouldn't personally go into the exact count within this area. It is quite choppy, and honestly, in the end, it might work out as a 5-wave move to the downside, so we should be watching here for a possible area of resistance in such an idea, and this would be for a larger wave B, and that would be, yeah, let's track this in the orange interpretation, at the levels between the 4.3k level, yeah, 4.38k level, all the way up to the 4.49k level at the 78.6% retracement, where a break above the 78.6% retracement would be a signal that we have already formed a bottom and that we should be starting to consider a 5th wave to the upside that is much more likely to have already started. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.